Hey, welcome back for video number 2. My name is Zachary Good, and today we will be conducting a workout using plyometrics. This workout is going to be focused on explosiveness, quickness, and power. So I hope you guys enjoy and take something away from this video. First, we're going to be starting with our general warm-up. So the first exercise for our general warm-up is going to be the low-intensity assault bike. It's going to be a moderate pace cardiovascular exercise. The bike uses both upper and lower body movements. So you're going to incorporate pedaling with your legs and pushing and pulling with your arms. The warm-up is typically performed 5 to 10 minutes, and you're going to use it to gradually elevate your heart rate and increase blood flow to your working muscles. So the main purpose for the low-intensity assault bike is going to be to increase your body temperature. So it's going to prepare your body for more intense exercise by gradually raising your body temperature. It's going to boost circulation. It's going to activate your muscle groups, specifically your legs, arms, back, and core, because you're stabilizing yourself on the bike. It's also going to reduce injury. A proper warm-up is going to reduce strains. It's going to improve joint mobility and mental preparation. So for the proper setup for this exercise, you're going to adjust the seat so that when your foot is at the bottom of the pedal stroke, there's a slight bend, about 15 to 20 degrees in the knee. For seat depth, you should be able to comfortably grip the handlebars without overreaching. And then the handlebars, these move with your pedaling, so you don't really have to make any adjustments. And then for your foot position, place your feet flat on the pedals with a secure grip. Shoes should have good traction or be clipped in if applicable. Here, I don't have clip-ins. I'm just kind of put my feet on the pedal. They're kind of just there freely. For the correct execution of this warm-up, you're going to start slowly. You don't want to go too fast. You don't want to fatigue yourself. So begin pedaling with both legs and move with the handlebars in a push-pull motion with your arms. Make sure you're maintaining a low intensity. So it's around 50 to 60% of your maximum effort, probably closer to 50. You can tell in the video, if you look at me, I'm talking to my partner, and that's a good indicator that I'm going at a correct pace, because if I'm going too fast, then I'm tired and I won't have that conversation. I'll be out of breath. So you're going to do this for 5 to 10 minutes. Here we just did a 5-minute quick warm-up. Typical errors while you're doing the assault bike can be the incorrect seat height, like we talked before, going too hard too soon. So you don't want to defeat the purpose of a warm-up. You just want to warm your body up and not lead to fatigue before the workout has even started. Poor posture. Poor posture is very common when doing these exercises because you're sitting down, you get comfortable. So don't slouch or overextend, Make sure your shoulders are back, chest is high, and you're breathing throughout the movement. So this specifically targets the lower body, upper body, and core, so really everything. Quadriceps, hamstrings, glutes, calves, your upper body while you're pushing on the bike. So these bars you see me pushing on, it's working your deltoids, biceps, triceps, upper back, because you're pushing and pulling. And then also your core, because even though you're sitting down, you're still stabilizing yourself while you're pushing and pulling. Other benefits for this exercise, so some people do this exercise for an extended period of time, which can lead to cardiovascular conditioning. It can lead to improved coordination. It's going to lube up our joints, so that it's going to have more increased synovial fluid. So just to reiterate, this is our general warm-up, which we're doing right now, and that's just to increase the overall body temperature and blood flow in the body. Really, we're focusing on mobilizing the joints and preparing the cardiovascular system. When we get into our specific warm-up after these next couple of exercises or stretches, we're using that to prepare the specific muscle groups, and we're going to do movement patterns used in the main exercise. So we're going to pick exercises that mimic the movements. The focus is really increasing the neuromuscular activation and familiarizing our body with the exercises we're about to do. Moving on from our assault bike warm-up, we're going to go into our leg swings, which is a dynamic warm-up movement. It involves controlled swinging of one leg forward and backward or side to side. Here I'm doing it forward and backward. It's going to be used to prepare the hips, hamstrings, glutes, and hip flexors by promoting joint mobility and increased blood flow. The proper setup for this, find a wall, pole, anything. I'm using the fence here in the rec. You're going to stand on one leg and hold support with the same side hand. You can do opposite if you want, but I like doing it with the same side because it gives me more support. Swing the free leg forward and backward in a smooth and controlled arc. I like to begin with gradual swings rather than just swinging as hard as I can off the bat. I think it warms up more and decreases the possibility of a strain. Make sure you're not over swinging. There should be no leaning or arching, and have a proper engagement with your core. Also, don't lock your supporting knee as it can lead to joint stress. And there should be no twisting at the hips or spine. So here I have my chest is high and I'm keeping everything straight. From our leg swings, we're going to go into arm circles. It's going to be another dynamic warm-up exercise. It's going to involve circular motions of the arms. We're going to use this to activate our shoulder muscles. The movement can be done both forward and in backward directions, which we're going to do here. The purpose of this is to increase blood flow to the shoulders, chest, and upper back. So to set this up, you don't need much. You're just going to stand tall with your feet shoulder width apart. Keep your spine neutral, shoulders relaxed, and core lightly engaged. So begin with small circles, and then you're going to move to larger circles. We're going to do this for 30 seconds to the front and now 30 seconds to the back. Typical errors I see: shrugging of the shoulders. This can cause tension. Bent elbows, swinging too fast, and leaning or arching. So make sure really this is just proper posture. That's the most important part of this exercise. Going into our butt kicks, I slowed it down a little bit so you can see the proper form. This is going to be another dynamic warm-up exercise that involves jogging or jogging in place while kicking the heels upward towards the glutes. So this is going to prepare us for our high-intensity lower body activities, kind of warming up the heart rate, getting those joints lubed up. So to start, stand tall with your spine neutral, your shoulders relaxed, and of course your core engaged. Begin jogging, and then with each stride, you're going to bring your heel up or tap your glutes. Pump your arms in sync with your legs so you can maintain your balance. And then you're going to land softly on the balls of your feet when you bring that foot down. We're going to do 20 yards, so 10 yards down and back. Make sure you're not leaning forward excessively, kicking too forcefully, and keep a good rhythm. Now into our high knees, which is another dynamic cardiovascular warm-up exercise. It's going to involve rapidly lifting your knees towards your chest while jogging or jogging in place. It's going to prepare us for high-intensity athletic activities. It's going to elevate your heart rate, and it's going to activate key muscles involved in sprinting or jumping, which we are going to be doing some jumping. So stand tall with a tight core and neutral spine. Begin jogging or jogging in place while driving your knees upward toward your chest as high as possible. So when you do this, use quick, explosive steps. Pump your arms in sync with your legs. Land softly on the balls of your feet with your knees slightly bent. So typical errors I see: leaning forward or backward. Also, flat-footed landing. This is going to increase your joint stress. Flailing arms, so it's also going to reduce your balance and coordination. After high knees, that concludes our general warm-up. We're going to move into our specific warm-up, getting us ready for the plyometric workout. And again, this is just going to prepare the specific muscle groups and movement patterns going to be used in the main workout. The first movement in our specific warm-up is going to be squat jumps. It is a plyometric warm-up exercise that combines a standard body weight squat with an explosive jump. So it's going to help activate our lower body muscles. It's going to improve our power output. It's really going to prepare our nervous system. It's going to activate fast twitch muscle fibers and stimulate explosive movement. So start in a standing position with your feet shoulder width apart. Lower into a squat by bending your hips and knees, and make sure you keep your chest up. Explosively jump upward, pushing you through your heels and fully extending your hips. Make sure you land softly on the balls of your feet. Moving on to toe walks, they are a low-intensity dynamic warm-up exercise that involves walking on the balls of the feet with the heels elevated. This movement emphasizes activation and strengthening of the calves, ankles, feet, while improving balance and stability. So this is really going to improve ankle stability and mobility. It's going to strengthen the lower leg to support jumping, running, and cutting movements. This is important because we're going to be doing a lot of box jumps, a lot of jumping. So here we're going to be doing 20 yards total, so 10 yards down and 10 yards back. From our toe walks into our heel walks, it's another dynamic warm-up drill where you're going to walk forward on your heels with your toes lifted off the ground. It's going to activate and strengthen muscles on the front of the lower legs, so especially the tibialis anterior. It's going to help stabilize the ankle and prevent shin splints. It's going to be important when we're landing from the box jumps, since we are going to be stretching our calves and our tibialis anterior. So make sure while you're doing this, you're going at a controlled pace. You see that I'm going 10 yards down and 10 yards back. Moving on to our ski jumps, also known as side-to-side hops. It is a plyometric warm-up exercise that mimics the motion of a skier moving from side to side. This movement involves jumping laterally with either both feet or single feet. Today we're doing a single leg, while keeping the knees slightly bent and core engaged. It's going to be used to activate key lower body muscles and enhance neuromuscular control and joint stability. So begin an athletic stance, jump laterally to one side. As soon as you land, immediately rebound and jump back to the other side. Swing your arms in a natural motion, and then you're going to land with your knees slightly bent and hips to absorb the impact. So we're going to continue for 10 reps each leg. Into our last movement of the specific warm-up is the single leg hops, and we're going to be doing 10 yards down, 10 yards back, so 10 yards for each leg. It is a plyometric warm-up exercise where you hop repeatedly on one foot, either in place or moving forward. We're going to be moving forward. The movement activates the muscles around the ankle, knee, and hip and builds lower body power. So the purpose is going to be to strengthen our stabilizing muscles. It's also going to improve proprioception and also enhance neuromuscular control for injury prevention. Here you're going to see me push off the ground using my foot, ankle, and leg muscles to perform a small hop. I'm going to land softly on the same foot, and I'm keeping the knees slightly bent to absorb impact. I'm also maintaining control and restabilizing before initiating the next hop. This is going to conclude our specific warm-up and our overall warm-up. We will now be moving into our main exercises for our plyometric workout. Our first out of our 6 modalities we will be doing in today's workout is going to be the Olympic lift clean. Our first exercise we will be doing is the barbell traditional clean. It is a compound Olympic weightlifting movement where the barbell is lifted explosively from the floor to the front rack position across the shoulders in one continuous fluid motion. It's typically broken into 3 phases: the pull, the second pull, and the catch. First, drive through the heels to lift the bar off the floor. Make sure you're maintaining a neutral spine and consistent back angle. Once the bar passes the knees, explode upward by extending the hips, knees, and ankles. Shrug the shoulders forcefully while pulling the bar upward. Make sure your elbows stay high and outside. For the third pull, as the bar reaches the peak height, quickly drop under the bar. Rotate the elbows around and catch the bar on the front of the shoulders. You're going to land in a full squat position for this exercise. Some common mistakes I see is pulling the arms instead of the hips, which reduces power. Another is poor bar path, so letting the bar drift away from your body during the movement. Also, we do not want to see a rounded back or a jerky lift off. This can increase injury risk and reduce efficiency. Last, the primary muscle groups we're going to be working for this exercise are the glutes, hamstrings, quadriceps, calves, trapezius, and spinal erectors. Moving on to our second variation of the clean is the kettlebell power clean. It is an explosive full body movement where the kettlebell is pulled from the ground and cleaned into the rack position, resting at the shoulder. So before, unlike the regular clean, we're not going into a squat position after we catch the kettlebell. The purpose of this is to develop explosive hip power and posterior chain strength. It's going to improve coordination, grip, and control of the kettlebell, while also train unilateral strength and stability. When performing, drive through the hips explosively, extending the hips and knees. As the kettlebell rises, guide it up and close to the body rather than letting it arc outward. Pull your elbow back and rotate your wrists. Catch the kettlebell in the rack position. As some people do, make sure you do not have a rounded back in a hinge position. This can increase risk of injury. The primary muscle groups we will be working using this exercise is the glutes, hamstrings, core, forearms, trapezius, and deltoids. Onto our third variation of the clean will be the barbell power clean. It is a foundational Olympic weightlifting movement where the barbell is explosively lifted from the floor to the front rack position, resting on the shoulders. Using a powerful hip extension and catching the bar in a partial squat, not a full squat like we did before in the regular clean. The power clean emphasizes speed and explosiveness over deep squat strength. The purpose of this exercise is to develop explosive power through triple extension. It's supposed to enhance rate of force production for athletic performance, train coordination, timing, and body awareness, timing specifically towards when we are catching the bar or coming under it. It's also supposed to prepare athletes for more advanced Olympic lifts, like the full clean or clean and jerk. For the first phase, push through the floor with the legs. Keep the bar close to your shins as you lift it just above the knees. Maintain a flat back and neutral spine. As the bar passes the knees, explode upward. Simultaneously shrug the shoulders and begin to pull with the arms. As the bar reaches the chest, quickly drop under it into a partial squat, not a full squat. Rotate your elbows under the bar and forward. Stand fully upright to finish the lift. Some common errors I see is poor catch position. So low elbows or wrists are bent too far, and this can strain wrist or reduce bar stability. Of course, a rounded back is not good in the pull, so you don't want to hurt that lower back, and you want to make sure your bar path is correct. So a bar too from the body can reduce control and efficiency. Moving on to our second exercise of this modality is the barbell hang clean. It is a variation of the Olympic clean in which the lift starts from the hang position, meaning the bar begins at or just above the knees rather than from the floor. It involves an explosive extension of the hips, knees, and ankles to launch the bar upward, followed by a quick pull under the catch in the front rack position. It is used to train power, speed, and coordination while reducing the complexity of lifting it from the floor. To start, you will have your hips back, chest over the bar, and your knees slightly bent. Your back's going to be flat and your core is going to be braced. Keep the bar close to your body and your weight balanced mid-foot, balls of your feet. Extend the hips, knees, and ankles simultaneously. Shrug the shoulders and pull the bar upward, keeping the elbows high and out. Quickly pull yourself under the bar, rotating elbows around and catching the bar in the front rack position. Land in a full squat. Stand fully upright after the full squat. Some errors I see while performing this exercise is early arm pull, which can cause a looped bar path instead of a proper one. Catching with the low elbows, that is not good and can strain your wrist. And a rounded back, which is unsafe lifting posture. The primary muscles worked are going to be the glutes, hamstrings, quadriceps, calves, trapezius, and spinal erectors. Moving into our second variation of the hang clean is the kettlebell hang power clean. It is a dynamic, explosive movement that involves cleaning the kettlebell from the hang position into the front rack position using powerful hip extension. Unlike a full clean, it does not involve a full squat catch. Instead, we will catch the kettlebell in a high partial squat or standing position. The purpose for this exercise is to develop explosive hip power, enhance unilateral strength, stability, and coordination. It also improves grip strength, timing, and shoulder stability. To start, we will hinge at the hips with a flat back. Keep your knees bent slightly, chest tall, and shoulders over the kettlebell. Make sure your core is engaged. Start from the hang position. Initiate a hip hinge. Explosively extend the hips using a snap to drive the kettlebell upward. Keep the kettlebell close to the body and guide it upward into a straight line. As the kettlebell rises, relax the grip slightly and allow the kettlebell to rotate smoothly around the wrist. After it's caught, return the kettlebell to the hang position with control. Some common errors I see is rounding the back during the hinge or swinging the kettlebell too far away from the body. The primary muscle groups we'll be working is the glutes, hamstrings, core for stabilization, forearms, trapezius, and shoulders. Now into our third variation of the hang clean is the barbell hang power clean. It is a variation of the Olympic clean where the lift starts from the hang position and the barbell is pulled explosively to the shoulders in a partial squat catch. This variation will be performed just like the standard hang clean, but will be caught in a partial squat. The biggest errors I see are catching the bar with the elbows low or wrist bent back, which can lead to injury, or letting the bar drift away from the body. The primary muscle groups we will be using are the gluteus maximus, hamstrings, quadriceps, calves, spinal erectors, and trapezius. Now moving on to our second modality, the Olympic snatch. The traditional barbell snatch is an advanced Olympic weightlifting movement in which the barbell is explosively lifted from the floor to overhead in one continuous motion. The purpose of this is to develop maximum explosive power, improve mobility, balance, and overhead stability, while train coordination, speed, and full body synchronization. For the proper setup and execution, your feet should be hip to shoulder width apart, your grip should be wide using a hook grip, the bar placement should be over the midfoot with shins nearly touching. The hips should be below the shoulder, your chest should be up, and your back flat. Shoulders should be slightly in front of the bar, arms straight, and your core engaged. First, drive through the floor with the legs. Keep your chest up and back tight as the bar moves from the floor to just above the knees. Rebend the knees slightly as the bar passes mid-thigh. Extend the hips, knees, and ankles forcefully. Shrug the shoulders and pull the bar straight up. As the bar reaches maximum height, quickly pull yourself under it. Rotate your arms and elbows around the bar to catch it overhead in a deep squat. After the deep squat, catch, stabilize the bar, and stand. Some common errors I see as of other lifts is the bar drifting away from the body, which reduces the efficiency and control. Another one, specifically towards the snatch, is a poor overhead catch. It could be unsafe and inefficient. Another one is a lack of depth or mobility when you catch the bar. This primarily works the glutes, hamstrings, quadriceps, calves, trapezius, spinal erectors, and deltoids. If you haven't seen, our Olympic lifts work a lot of primary muscle groups. Moving into our second variation of the snatch is the kettlebell snatch, which is a dynamic ballistic movement in which the kettlebell is swung from the ground and propelled overhead in one fluid motion. It involves a powerful hip extension followed by a high pull and a smooth catch with the kettlebell resting on the back of the forearm in a locked out overhead position in a squat. The purpose of this exercise is to build explosive hip drive and full body power, improve shoulder mobility, overhead stability, and coordination. It also improves unilateral strength. To start this exercise, you have your feet hip and width apart, toes slightly turned out. An overhand grip with a hook grip. For your body, hinge at the hips, have your back flat and chest up. From the floor, hike the kettlebell back between your legs as you would in a kettlebell swing, creating tension through the hamstring and glutes. Explosively extend your hips and knees to launch the kettlebell upward. As the kettlebell reaches chest height, bend at the elbow slightly and pull the kettlebell upward. Catch the kettlebell with a locked out elbow, wrist neutral, arm aligned with the ear. The kettlebell should rest on the back of the forearm in a stable overhead position while in a squat. Some common mistakes I see is using the arm instead of the hips. This can lead to fatigue and inefficiency. Also, poor overhead lockout. Do not have a bent elbow or an unstable shoulder. While doing this movement, make sure your back is straight and it is not rounded. The primary targeted muscle groups would be the glutes, hamstrings, core, including your obliques to stabilize the unilateral kettlebell, shoulders, and trapezius. As we watch this exercise being performed, we can tell it's very complex, so it develops timing, rhythm, and proprioception. Moving on to our third variation of the full snatch is the barbell power snatch. It is an Olympic weightlifting movement where the barbell is lifted from the floor to an overhead position in one explosive motion. It is caught above parallel. The purpose of this exercise is to develop explosive power in the hips, legs, and upper body. It's supposed to improve overhead mobility, coordination, and balance. It also builds foundational skills for progressing to the full snatch. For your feet, they should be hip to shoulder width apart. The grip should be a wide snatch grip using the hook grip. Your body alignment should be hips below shoulders, chest up, back flat, shoulders slightly in front of the bar, arms straight, and core engaged. To start, drive through the legs to lift the bar off the ground. Keep the bar close to the body, maintaining a flat back and vertical torso angle. Forcefully extend the hips, knees, and ankles. Simultaneously shrug your shoulders and pull the bar vertically. Elbows stay high and to the side. The bar should stay close to your body. Quickly pull under the bar and catch it overhead. Land in a quarter or half squat. It is not a full depth squat. Stand up fully with the bar overhead. Stabilize before lowering the bar or resetting for the next rep. Some typical errors I see is early arm bend, barbell drifting away from the body like we've talked before in our other Olympic lifts. This can cause poor control, even some risk to injury. Poor back position or rounding during the pulls. This can lead to increased lower back strain. For this exercise, the primary muscle groups that are going to be worked are the glutes, hamstrings, quadriceps, trapezius, deltoids, calves, and spinal erectors. Moving on to our second exercise of this modality will be the hang snatch. We'll start with the barbell hang snatch, which is an Olympic snatch that starts from the hang position where the barbell is held off the ground, usually at mid-thigh or just above the knees, and is lifted overhead in one explosive movement, caught in a deep squat. The purpose of this exercise is to develop explosive hip power, improve snatch technique, and build coordination and timing under dynamic conditions. From the hang, rapidly extend the hips, knees, and ankles. Simultaneously shrug the shoulders and pull the bar vertically. Elbows should move high and outside. Once the bar reaches peak height, pull yourself under the bar quickly. Rotate the elbows and lock out the arms overhead while catching the bar in a deep squat. Drive through the heels to stand up with the bar overhead. Some common errors you will see is skipping hip extension or early arm bend, which reduces power and control. Make sure the bar is traveling along your body and not far and away. The primary muscles we will be using when conducting this exercise will be the glutes, hamstrings, quadriceps, calves, trapezius, deltoids, and spinal erectors. The second variation we'll be conducting of this exercise will be the kettlebell hang power snatch. It starts from a hang position rather than from the floor or a dead start. The movement uses an explosive hip drive to propel the kettlebell overhead in one smooth motion, catching it with the arm extended without performing a deep squat, hence the power. The purpose of this exercise is to develop explosive hip power and unilateral coordination, improve shoulder stability, grip strength, and core control. For correct execution, start in the hang position. Extend the hips and knees forcefully, launching the kettlebell upward. Keep the elbow close to the body. As the kettlebell reaches chest height, pull the elbow up and back slightly, then punch through the handle at the top to guide the kettlebell around the wrist. Lock out the elbow with the kettlebell stabilized overhead. Avoid excessive backward lean. Primary muscle groups we will be working are the glutes, hamstrings, core, deltoids, and trapezius. When doing this, make sure you are not letting the kettlebell drift too far away from the body. Moving on to our last variation of this exercise is the barbell hang power snatch. It is an Olympic weightlifting variation in which the barbell starts from a hang position and is explosively lifted overhead in one movement, caught in a partial squat. The purpose of this is to develop explosive power and speed, especially in the posterior chain. Using a barbell, this helps to improve bar path control and timing during the second and third pull of the snatch. For this variation, we will have the same setup and execution as the barbell hang snatch. Instead, we will not go into a deep squat. We will just catch it in a partial squat in the overhead position. The primary muscle groups we'll be working are the gluteus maximus, hamstrings, quadriceps, calves, trapezius, deltoids, and spinal erectors. We will now be moving into our third modality, which is the battle rope. Our first exercise will be the traditional battle rope waves, which involves generating alternating or simultaneous waves with heavy battle ropes anchored at one end. The exercise is performed from a stable standing position and requires rhythmic, explosive arm movements. The purpose for this is to improve upper body muscular endurance and cardiovascular conditioning, and to develop core strength, stabilization, and coordination. To start, have your feet shoulder width apart, knees slightly bent, hips hinged slightly back, and your core braced. Have a neutral grip, palms facing each other, hands holding the ends of the rope with the arms relaxed but ready to move. Now, rapidly move each arm up and down in an alternating pattern. Keep the elbows slightly bent and wrists neutral. Generate continuous waves through the rope, aiming for smooth, consistent motion. Mistakes I see is rounding at the back or collapsing at the chest, and inconsistent rhythm, which causes ineffective or uneven waves. The primary muscle groups that will be targeted are the deltoids, biceps, forearms, and upper trapezius. Of course, the core also. Our next variation of this exercise will be the high battle rope waves, which is the traditional battle rope wave exercise, but in this version, the arms move through a larger range of motion, raising the hands higher, typically to shoulder or head level. Here, I'm raising it to head level, and this is for each wave. This movement intensifies shoulder and upper back involvement. The purpose of this is to increase upper body endurance, especially in the shoulders and traps. Also, improve shoulder mobility, stability, and range of motion under tension. This variation will be performed just like the traditional battle rope waves, but will go through a higher range of motion, or a larger range of motion that goes towards our head. Some common mistakes I see is overarching in the back or leaning backward. Also, not lifting high enough. These are high battle rope waves. Using momentum instead of deliberate controlled arm movement is a big player in this. The primary muscle groups we'll use are the deltoids, trapezius, upper back, biceps, and forearms. Now moving on to the third variation of battle rope waves, we'll go into single battle rope waves, which involves performing wave motions using only one arm and one rope end, while the other arm remains at rest or assist with balance. For this, I use the other arm to hold the other rope and just stabilize. This unilateral variation isolates one side of the upper body, creating more demand on the core for stabilization, and offers a unique anti-rotation coordination challenge. The purpose of this exercise is to develop unilateral power, improve core stability, identify and correct strength imbalances between sides. We will be using the same equipment and setup as before in our other battle rope exercises, just using one hand this time. Again, just to reemphasize, I'm holding both ropes, but just using my non-working hand to stabilize the rope. Some typical errors I see is torso rotation or leaning forward, excessive elbow movement, poor posture such as slouching, or using momentum. The targeted muscle groups we will be using are the deltoids, biceps, forearms, and trapezius. This one, we will definitely be using our core also to stabilize that unilateral movement. Some other benefits of this workout enhances core anti-rotation strength, as we said before, and it builds mental focus and neuromuscular control, as you have to focus on one side at a time rather than both. This can also be a great rehab exercise. Now we will be moving into our second exercise of this modality, which will be inward battle rope circles instead of waves. Inward battle rope circles involve moving both arms in synchronized circular motions toward the midline of the body, creating circular waves in the rope. This variation targets the shoulders, upper back, and core, and adds a mobility and coordination component. The purpose of this exercise is going to be improvement of shoulder mobility and endurance, while also developing upper body coordination and motor control. To perform this exercise, you will begin with the arms extended slightly in front of you, Move both arms in simultaneous inward circular motions. Right hand moves counterclockwise, left hand moves clockwise. The circles should be smooth, tight, and rhythmic. Keep your shoulders down and relaxed while staying engaged through the core and glutes. While doing this exercise, you want to make sure you're not making overly wide or erratic circles, which reduces effectiveness, have locked elbows, or make uneven rhythm or arm speed. The primary muscle groups we'll be working is the deltoids, trapezius, rhomboids, biceps, and forearms. Now for our second variation of the battle rope circles, we'll be doing outward battle rope circles. It involves moving both arms in synchronized circular motions away from the center line of the body, creating outward spiraling waves of the ropes. The way this is different from the inward is it strengthens and mobilizes the shoulders, but has a specific focus on the scapular stabilizers. This exercise will be performed just like our inward battle rope circles, except going the opposite way, going outward. Some common errors I see are using the wrist too much, leading to poor rope wave quality, large uncontrolled circles, and lack of core bracing. The primary muscles we will be using are the deltoids, trapezius, rhomboids, rotator cuff muscles, and of course the biceps and forearms. Don't forget the core as you're stabilizing throughout. Now onto our last variation of the battle rope circles. We will be doing the seated inward battle rope circles, which is a variation of the traditional inward rope circles. It is performed from a seated position, typically on the floor or a bench. Here we're going to be doing it on the floor. In this variation, the arms move in a simultaneous inward circular motion, drawing circles towards the body center line. The purpose of this variation is to target and isolate the shoulders, arms, and upper back without lower body assistance. To start, sit with legs extended or bent in front of you, or seated upright on a box or bench. Here, we're going to be sitting on the floor. Begin moving both arms in circular motions inward toward the body's midline. Keep the circles controlled, tight, and rhythmic. Some errors I see are slouching or rounding in the back while seated, overusing the wrists or forearms, and inconsistent or sloppy circles. The primary muscle groups we'll be using for this variation are the deltoids, trapezius, rhomboids, biceps, and forearms, not as much as the lower body extremities. Moving on to our fourth modality, which is lower body plyometrics, we will be going into the box drills, specifically the alternate leg push-off. It is a plyometric and agility exercise performed using a plyometric box or sturdy platform. The movement involves alternating legs to push off and drive the body upward while the other leg rests on the box. The purpose of this exercise is to develop explosive power in the lower body, strengthen unilateral leg muscles to reduce imbalances, and enhance cardiovascular fitness and footwork speed. To start, stand facing the box with one foot on top of it, the other on the floor. From the starting stance, drive through the foot on the box to push your body upward. As you rise, switch legs mid-air, placing the opposite foot on the box and bringing the initial foot back to the floor. Land softly with control. Absorb impact with a bent knee and immediately repeat the movement by pushing off with a new foot. Some common mistakes I see while performing this exercise is landing hard on the box or floor. This can lead to increased joint stress or lack of full foot contact on the box. The primary muscle groups we will be working here are the quadriceps, glutes, hamstrings, and calves, while also using the core. Going into our second variation of the box drill is the lateral push-off. It is a plyometric and agility-focused exercise where the athlete pushes off laterally from the side of a plyometric box. This helps with building explosive lateral power and improves balance. The purpose of this is to strengthen hip abductors, adductors, and the glute medius. Also, it builds lateral explosiveness. It can also enhance reaction time and athletic performance and lateral movement patterns. To properly perform this exercise, push through the foot on the box to drive your body laterally up. When you come down, land softly and under control, immediately preparing to push off again to return to the starting position. Keep your core braced and maintain an athletic posture throughout. The biggest mistake I see when performing this exercise is not fully committing to the lateral push. The primary muscle groups we'll be working is the gluteus medius and maximus, quadriceps, hamstrings, calves, hip abductors, and adductors. Our third variation of the box drill will be the side-to-side push-off. It is a lateral plyometric and agility-based movement where an individual repeatedly pushes off one leg to move sideways over a box and lands on the opposite leg. The exercise is performed continuously from side to side, making it excellent for building explosive lateral power. The purpose of this is to develop lateral explosiveness, balance, and power, while also training the frontal plane, side-to-side motion, which is often underutilized. This exercise will be performed just like the lateral push-off, except we'll be going up and over the box while alternating legs. The biggest mistake I see on this exercise is not switching legs properly, leading to uneven or a jerky movement. Here I've slowed the video down so you can see my foot is fully on the box, which is proper form. The primary muscle groups we will be using is the gluteus medius and maximus, quadriceps, hamstrings, calves, hip abductors, and adductors. Moving into our second exercise of our lower body plyometric modality, we will be doing the depth jump. A depth jump is an advanced plyometric exercise where an athlete steps off a box, lands on the ground, and then immediately performs a maximum vertical or horizontal jump. Here we are doing a vertical jump. It is designed to develop explosive power, reactive strength, and neuromuscular efficiency by using the stretch shortening cycle of muscles. The main purpose of this exercise is to improve explosiveness and jump height, while also build lower body power, speed, and elastic strength. To start this, you will stand upright on the edge of the box with feet shoulder width apart, arms at your sides or slightly in front for balance. To start, step. Do not jump off the box with one foot followed by the other. As your feet contact the ground, immediately absorb the landing with a slight knee and hip bend. Without pausing, explode upward into a vertical jump. Land softly with knees slightly bent and prepare for the next rep. The biggest mistake I see is jumping off the box instead of stepping off. This adds unnecessary impact. The primary muscles we'll be using when doing this will be the quadriceps, gluteus maximus, hamstrings, and calves. The secondary will be core muscles, hip flexors, and tibialis anterior. Next, into our second variation of depth jumps, we'll be doing the depth jump to second box. It is an advanced plyometric progression of the traditional depth jump. In this variation, an athlete steps off the first box, lands on the ground, and immediately jumps explosively onto a second box, positioned right in front of them. The main purposes of this exercise is to enhance the ability to absorb and redirect force quickly, and strengthen landing mechanics and dynamic balance. When setting this exercise up, get two boxes which are equal in height, specifically for safety. Set box 1 down on the ground, and then set box 2 2 to 3 feet in front of the box. To properly execute this, you will step off box 1, again, do not jump, allow both feet to hit the ground simultaneously. As you land, absorb the impact by bending the knees and hips slightly. Within a split second of landing, explode upward and forward. Land softly on box 2 with your feet flat, knees slightly bent, and chest tall. After you've completed the rep, step down carefully and reset. Some common mistakes I see is jumping off the first box instead of stepping. The second one is landing with stiff legs or straight knees. This can be very bad for injury. The last would be overshooting the second box due to too much forward momentum. The primary muscle groups we will be using are the gluteus maximus, quadriceps, hamstrings, calves, and for our secondary muscle groups, we will be using core stabilizers, hip flexors, and the tibialis anterior. For our third and last variation of depth jumps, we will be doing the depth jump with standing long jump. It is an advanced plyometric drill that combines vertical and horizontal force production. The athlete steps off a box, lands on the ground, and then immediately performs a powerful standing broad jump forward. This drill targets the stretch shortening cycle, explosiveness, and forward propulsion mechanics. The main purposes of this exercise are to develop explosive horizontal power, improve reactive strength, enhance athletic performance in sports requiring sprinting, cutting, or leaping, and to reinforce proper landing and jumping mechanics under high force. We will start by standing on the box in our proper depth jump starting position.
Step, don't jump off the box again. Absorb the landing with the bent knees and hips. With minimal delay, explode forward into a standing long jump, swinging the arms and extending the hips for a maximum distance. Land with both feet together, knees slightly bent, and body balanced. Make sure after sticking the landing, regain control before resetting. Some errors I see are, again, jumping off the box, which can lead to unnecessary injury, pausing after the landing, or overreaching the jump, leading to loss of balance. The targeted muscle groups that we will be using in this exercise will be the gluteus maximus, hamstrings, quadriceps, and calves. And for our secondary muscle groups, we will be using the core, hip flexors, and erector spinae. We will now be moving on to our fifth modality of upper body plyometrics and our first exercise of the power drop. Power drop is a plyometric reactive drill in which a coach or partner drops a medicine ball from a height and the athlete must react quickly to catch and control it. The purpose of this exercise is to improve explosive upper body power and reaction time, train eccentric strength through catching and absorbing force, while also developing coordination, timing, and motor control under stress. Here I have slowed the video down so you can see the proper setup and execution. You will need a partner for this, so the athlete will be directly below or slightly offset from the coach or partner. To execute this, the coach or partner holds the medicine ball at chest or shoulder height and drops it without warning. The athlete reacts quickly, catching the ball midair with soft bent elbows. Upon catching, you will immediately return the ball to the coach or partner. Some common mistakes I see while performing this exercise is misjudging the drop timing, resulting in late or missed catches. Also, failure to absorb the force properly. The last is using too heavy of a ball, which compromises speed and form. The primary muscles targeted for this will be the deltoids, biceps, forearms, and grip muscles. Our secondary will be the trapezius and latissimus dorsi. Now we will be going into our second variation of ball throws, and we will be doing the single arm throw. It is a power and coordination-based exercise involving the explosive release of a medicine ball using one arm. They can be performed in various directions. Here we're doing it forward, and from different stances. The main purpose of this exercise is to develop explosive upper body power, especially unilaterally. It's also used to train shoulder joint integrity and throwing mechanics. It also can reinforce transfer from lower body through the core to the upper body. To execute this exercise, you will stand in an upright position with your feet hip-width apart, your working arm out to the side at 90 degrees, waiting for the ball. Your partner will then throw the ball to your working arm, and you will immediately brace and catch. As soon as you catch, immediately return the ball to the partner. Notice how when I throw the ball back to the partner, there is no rotation. I am strictly using my upper extremities to return the ball. Some common mistakes I see is the over-incorporation of a rotation while catching and throwing the ball. Also, using too heavy a ball. This can lead to injury. Inconsistent foot placement is also a common mistake. The primary muscles we will be using while doing the throw will be the deltoids, pectoralis major, and triceps. We will now be moving into our third and last variation of ball throws, the two-handed side-to-side throw. In this exercise, a medicine ball is thrown laterally from side to side using a partner, using both hands. There will be no rotational movement, and the partner will stand directly in front of you, catching and returning the ball. The purpose of this exercise is to improve shoulder and upper back endurance and mobility, enhance lateral power output and arm speed, while also reinforcing neuromuscular control during upper body movement. To begin, you will stand in the upright position with your feet hip-width apart. The partner will begin with the ball and throw the ball at one of your sides. You will catch with both hands without rotating and return the ball as quickly as possible to your partner. Notice how there is no rotation when catching the ball. Strictly use your upper extremities. When performing this, make sure you find a proper ball weight and your partner realizes how much force he needs to throw for you to get a benefit out of the workout. Some common mistakes I see is rotating the torso to assist the throw, swinging with momentum before the throw, leaning or shifting the body weight side to side, compromising posture. The main muscle groups we will be using are the deltoids, pectoralis major, upper trapezius, rhomboids, and for the secondary will be the forearms and grip muscles. Now we will be switching exercises of our upper body plyometrics into the traditional plyo push-ups or plyometric push-ups. They are an explosive upper body weight exercise designed to build power, speed, and reactive strength in the upper body. The athlete performs a push-up but forcefully pushes off the ground with enough power for the hands to lift off the floor. The purpose of the plyo push-up is to develop explosive upper body power, enhance neuromuscular reactivity, improve fast-twitch muscle fiber recruitment, and build eccentric control and stability in dynamic upper body movements. To execute properly, you will lower yourself under control in the bottom of a push-up. Once your chest nearly touches the floor, explode upward as powerfully as possible. Allow your hands to leave the ground, lifting slightly. Land softly with slightly bent elbows to absorb the impact. Some typical errors I see is sagging hips or arched back. So you have to engage your core for this. Flared elbows, landing with stiff elbows, or poor control. The targeted muscles we will be using are the pectoralis major, triceps brachii, and anterior deltoids. And the secondary muscles will be the core, serratus anterior, and the forearms. For our second variation of plyo push-ups, we will be doing the deficit plyo push-up. The deficit plyo push-ups are an advanced variation of plyo push-ups performed with the hands elevated on platforms, such as dumbbells, but we are using weight plates for this. Creating a deficit or increased range of motion, the athlete drops into a deep push-up between the platforms and explosively pushes up. The purpose of this variation is to build explosive upper body power through an increased range of motion and improve eccentric strength and deceleration control. To start, you will take 2 platforms, I use weight plates, and you will place your hands on both platforms. Going into the movement, you will hop your hands off the platforms onto the non-elevated surface. You will land softly, then once at the bottom, explosively push up using maximum force to lift your hands back onto the platform. Some typical errors I see are letting the hips sag or lifting the butt. Rotating or shifting weight unevenly, this could risk shoulder injury. Using platforms that are unstable, this is why I prefer weight plates. Or landing with locked elbows. The primary targeted muscle groups we will use are the pectoralis major, triceps brachii, and anterior deltoids. The secondary muscles we will be using is the core, so the rectus abdominis, serratus anterior, forearms, and wrist staplers. For our third and last variation of plyo push-ups, we will be doing the band-assisted plyometric push-ups. They are a regression of traditional plyo push-ups designed to help individuals develop explosive upper body power while reducing body weight resistance. A resistance band is suspended across safety bars, here seen in the video, or a rack placed under the chest or hips to assist upward movement. It makes it easier to push off the ground and achieve flight. The purpose of this exercise: train explosive pushing power, improve rate of force development in the chest, shoulders, and triceps, and safely build up to unassisted plyometric push-ups. To start in a standard push-up position with the band supporting your torso. Lower your chest toward the ground under control, allowing the band to stretch and assist slightly at the bottom. From the bottom, explode upward, pushing hard enough for your hands to leave the floor. Make sure you land softly, absorb the impact slightly by bending your elbows, and descend into the next rep. Some errors that I see when people perform this exercise are letting the hips sag. They rely entirely on the band. So if your band is just too strong, go down in weight so you can have some less resistance. Also, a misplaced band. Make sure it's across your torso and not around your hips. The primary muscle groups we will be using are the pectoralis major, triceps brachii, and anterior deltoids. We will now move on to our sixth and final modality, trunk body plyometrics, and start with the 45-degree sit-up standard ball return exercise. It is a core stability and coordination exercise performed with a partner or wall. Here we are going to be using a partner. While holding a static sit-up position at a 45-degree angle, the individual will catch and throw a medicine ball directly forward. This exercise has the purpose of developing core strength and endurance, especially in isometric holds, while also reinforce proper spinal alignment and brace under load. For the starting position, you will lean back to a 45-degree angle from the floor. Keep your back straight, chest up, and shoulders relaxed. Your hand should be ready at chest level to receive the ball. For execution, begin by holding the 45-degree position. The partner gently throws the medicine ball directly towards your chest. Catch the ball with both hands while maintaining the 45-degree angle. Quickly and firmly push or throw the ball back straight. Some errors I see are breaking form when catching the ball, sitting up or leaning back too far, over-relying on arm strength, and inconsistent throw force. The primary muscles we will be using are the rectus abdominis, transverse abdominis, and the obliques. With the throw, though, sometimes we will be using the deltoids, triceps, and biceps. For a second variation of the 45-degree sit-up, we will be doing the 45-degree sit-up high ball return. It is a core stabilization dynamic upper body coordination exercise performed with a partner. While holding a static sit-up position at a 45-degree angle, the individual catches and throws a medicine ball that is passed at a higher trajectory than before, typically overhead or above chest level. This variation increases demand on the shoulders, upper chest, and core stability. The purpose of this exercise is to train isometric core endurance and upper body load. It's supposed to improve reflexive strength and hand-eye coordination at varying heights, enhance functional trunk stability under dynamic conditions. For the correct execution, it will be the same as the standard 45-degree sit-up ball return, but we will just be catching and releasing at a higher point or a higher trajectory point. Some typical errors I see when performing this is breaking the 45-degree hold, like we said before, leaning forward or rounding the spine, poor coordination or control on higher throws, or not throwing high enough. The primary muscles we will be using is the rectus abdominis, anterior deltoids, pectoralis major, and transverse abdominis. Moving on to our third and final variation of the 45-degree sit-up, we will be doing the 45-degree sit-up side ball return, which is a core strengthening and rotational stability exercise involving a partner and a medicine ball. While holding a static sit-up position at a 45-degree angle, the individual receives and returns the ball to the side, typically to the left or right. We are going to alternate here, engaging the obliques and transverse abdominis. The purpose of this variation of the exercise is to strengthen the core, especially the obliques and deep stabilizers, improve rotational stability, train the core to resist twisting under dynamic load, and enhance functional coordination between the upper and lower body. To start, you will perform just like the other two 45-degree sit-up positions, but instead, your partner tosses the medicine ball towards your side instead of in front of you. Catch the ball, absorb the force by slightly rotating, engage the obliques, and use a strong, controlled motion to pass the ball back to the side. Some common mistakes I see when performing this exercise is rotating the spine excessively, so not under control, breaking posture, dropping the feet or lifting them, and throwing only with your arms. We want to rotate in this exercise, so don't be afraid. The primary muscle groups targeted are the obliques, rectus abdominis, and transverse abdominis. Moving on to our second exercise of the trunk body plyometric modality, we will be doing medicine ball twist and start with the wall rotational throw. It is a powerful and explosive core and upper body exercise where an individual throws a medicine ball against the wall using a rotational motion from the torso and hips. It stimulates movements used in throwing sports, striking, and many athletic actions. The purpose of this exercise is to develop rotational power in the core and upper body. improve explosive strength, and torso coordination. It's also supposed to build functional strength for athletic movements or daily tasks involving trunk rotation. To start, you will stand sideways to the wall, feet shoulder width apart, or in a staggered stance. Hold the medicine ball at a waist. For the correct execution, rotate your torso and hips away from the wall, winding up the movement like a coil or a spring. In one explosive motion, rotate your hips, torso, and shoulders toward the wall, releasing the medicine ball. The throw should be powerful and fast, aiming for hip height impact on the wall. Catch the rebound and train the reflexes. Some common mistakes I see is throwing only with the arms. That will not engage the core properly, or not following through. That will reduce power output. The primary targeted muscle groups will be the obliques, rectus abdominis, transverse abdominis, and gluteus maximus and medius, while also incorporating your hip rotators. Going into our second variation of medicine ball twists, we will be doing the kneeling wall rotational throw. It is a powerful core and upper body exercise where an individual throws a medicine ball against the wall while kneeling. The movement emphasizes rotational strength and power through the torso, engaging the obliques, core, and upper body. But this variation of the wall throw limits the use of the lower body, forcing a more focused effort on the core muscles and improving stability and power. The purpose of the exercise is to develop rotational power and core strength, improve explosive upper body strength for sports that require twisting and throwing actions, enhance anti-rotational core control, and build coordination and muscle memory for dynamic rotational movements. For the starting position, you'll position your side to the wall with one knee down, closest to the wall. Hold the medicine ball with both hands at chest level or slightly lower. For correct execution, wind up, start by rotating your torso away from the wall. This will load the core and the hips. In one fluid and explosive motion, rotate your hips, torso, and shoulders towards the wall while simultaneously throwing the ball. Ensure you allow the motion to complete. Catch the ball on the rebound and reset for the next repetition. Some common mistakes I see is not using the hips or core enough, over-rotating, throwing too slowly, or dropping the chest or shoulders. The primary muscle groups we will be using are the obliques, rectus abdominis, transverse abdominis, glutes, and hips. You will also be using your deltoids, pectoralis, forearms, and your grip. Going into our third and final variation of medicine ball twist, we will do the partner rotational pass. It is a dynamic partner-based exercise that emphasizes core rotation and upper body coordination. This exercise involves one partner passing a medicine ball to the other while rotating the torso and maintaining balance. The purpose of this exercise is to develop rotational power and core strength, improve shoulder stability and upper body coordination, enhance functional movement patterns, and promote core control while engaging both the upper and lower body for a full body movement. To start, your partner will stand to your side and begin by passing the ball in front of you. You will catch the ball, using your core, rotate, wind up, and pass the ball back to your partner. You are not throwing with your arms here. You're using the rotation from your core to stabilize, absorb, and then return the ball to the partner. Some common mistakes I see are using only arms to pass the ball. This reduces the effectiveness of the exercise. Or a short rotation, not rotating fully through the torso, limits the engagement. The primary muscles we will be using are the obliques, rectus abdominis, transverse abdominis, hip rotators, lower back, and shoulders. Alrighty, well that's going to conclude our main plyometric workout, which consisted of 6 modalities, 2 exercises in each modality, and for each exercise, 3 variations. Now we're going to go on to our cool down and final stretches. Here we're going to start off on a light walk on the treadmill. We're going to do that for 5 minutes. So the light walk on a treadmill is a low intensity, low impact cool down exercise performed after a workout. It's going to help gradually lower our heart rate. It's going to aid in muscle recovery and promote overall relaxation. We're going to walk at a comfortable, steady pace. So the purpose for this, again, to reiterate, the lower heart rate, promote circulation, since we just did all those plyometric movements. We're going to walk at a light pace. It's going to encourage blood flow to the muscles. It's going to help flush out metabolic waste, specifically lactic acid. And then it's going to reduce muscle stiffness. It's going to help alleviate tightness in the legs and other muscles worked during the workout. And then we're going to try to enhance a little flexibility. It's going to prevent dizziness or lightheadedness. So cooling down slowly ensures that your blood doesn't pool in your lower extremities. Here, I don't know if you can see in the video, but I'm taking deep breaths while I'm walking. And that's going to ensure that I'm getting the proper oxygen that I just used up during my exercise. So we're going to start walking, begin walking at a comfortable pace. Ensure that your steps are relaxed. They're not too fast, too forced. Maintain a good position. So you're going to maintain an upright position with your chest open, shoulders back, and gaze forward, just like your mom told you to walk when you were younger. Keep a light pace. The pace should feel comfortable and easy. So just like our warm-up when we did our assault bike, I was able to have a conversation with my partner. That's the same thing here. You don't want to go too hard or exhaust yourself after a whole complete warm-up or workout, excuse me. You should aim for around 5 to 10 minutes for this cool down. Here we're going to do 5 minutes. Just make sure you cool down fully. So gradually slow the treadmill speed to a complete stop. You'll see me messing with the speed of the treadmill here and there, just ensuring that it's a gradual decrease. Some typical errors I see while conducting a cool down is stopping abruptly. So ending the treadmill session too suddenly can cause dizziness. That's very rare, but it can happen. Again, walking too fast. We don't want to go all out here. Our whole point is to lower our heart rate and promote recovery at this point. And you shouldn't be ignoring breathing, like I've said before. You're going to see me take deep breaths in through my nose and out through my mouth. Failure to control your breathing is just going to reduce the effectiveness of a whole cool down, right? On the treadmill, it's specifically going to target our lower body extremities since we use them so much today. We're going to hit more of our upper body and lower body in our final stretches. So yeah, we're going to finish here on the treadmill, and then I will see you during our final stretches. Okay, our first stack stretch is going to be the look right and left stretch. It is a simple neck mobility exercise that helps to gently stretch and loosen the muscles around your neck and upper back. The purpose of it is to improve neck mobility. Since we did a lot of rotation and movement today, this stretch enhances the flexibility and range of motion of the neck. It's also going to promote relaxation. This exercise helps relax the muscles and ease tension that can accumulate throughout the day and contribute to overall well-being. It's also going to support better posture. To start, we're going to slowly turn our head to the right, aiming to bring your chin over your right shoulder, and then we're going to switch and look over the left shoulder. Typical errors I see is twisting of the torso and jerk or rapid movements. So we're just going to twist, hold there. We're going to do 30 seconds each side, and make sure to not overstretch. Also have no tension in the shoulders. Our next cool down stretch is going to be the neck flexion and extension stretch. It's a simple, but it's a very effective exercise that targets the neck muscles, specifically the muscles at the front and back of the neck. This stretch helps improve neck mobility, flexibility. I like using it because it kind of gets rid of my headaches during the end of the day. It's going to alleviate tension. It helps reduce muscle tightness. It's also going to promote relaxation, just like our left and right stretch. And then it's going to help fix posture. So regular practice of this stretch can help maintain proper alignment of the neck and spine. So you don't have to do this at the end of a workout. End of the day, you can do this stretch. You just got off of work, you've been sitting in the chair all day. This is a perfect exercise to do. So what you shouldn't be doing here is overextending. It's kind of easy to overextend on this. You just want to get a nice stretch. No rounding of the shoulders, jerking or bouncing. That could cause muscle strain and injury, so we do not want to do that. Going into our third cool down stretch, it will be the seated lean back. It is a flexibility exercise that targets the shoulders, upper back, and neck. It is designed to improve shoulder mobility and relieve tension in the upper body. This stretch is great for individuals who sit for long periods of time. So if you're in class, it's great for what we just did today, since we did some upper body movements. It's going to open up the chest and help counteract the forward slouch that can develop from poor posture. In our case, we did some push-ups today, some ball throws, some single ball throws. This is going to help open up the rotator cuffs and shoulders. Going into the fourth cool down stretch, it's going to be the partner assisted, or just the PNF chest stretch. It is a stretch that involves a partner assisting you in stretching the chest and shoulder muscles. This exercise combines the benefits of static stretching with an isometric contraction phase. It's also going to help deepen the stretch when you're using a partner. How to perform this stretch, you're going to see me here in a seated position. My partner's going to get behind me. His knee's going to be in my back, not forcefully. I'm going to put my arms out at bent at a 90-degree angle, and he's going to gently pull my elbows to the rear. This is going to open up my chest and shoulders and really get a deep stretch. Moving on to our fifth cool down stretch is going to be the semi-leg straddle stretch. It is a seated flexibility exercise that targets the inner thighs, specifically the adductors, hamstrings, and lower back. So this variation of the classic straddle stretch involves a modified position where the legs are spread apart at a 45-degree angle, but they're not fully extended. So it's ideal for improving flexibility in the lower body while also promoting flexibility in the hips and groin. I'm going to be doing this stretch for 30 seconds, and you really see me trying to reach through my legs here. You can even see my fingers inching forward, and that's just ensuring I get a deep stretch. After our semi-leg straddle, we're going to go into the side quadricep stretch. The side quadricep stretch is a lower body flexibility exercise designed to target the quadriceps. It's going to help improve flexibility and mobility in the quads and hip flexors. It's going to reduce tension and improve overall lower body function. So this variation of the quadricep stretch involves you're going to be in a side lying position, and it's going to offer a different angle of stretch compared to the standard or prone quad stretch. It's great if you're looking to enhance flexibility and alleviate tightness. I'm going to be doing this for 30 seconds each leg. You're going to see me switch right here. And as all of our cool down stretches, even our cool down walk, make sure you're breathing throughout the exercise. All right. Keep both knees stacked on top of each other while you're doing this. So if you can see my top knee is stacked on top of my bottom knee. and that's just going to ensure that it's comfortable and you're getting the proper stretch. You don't want to be going too far or stretching your hip out when this is really for your quadricep. Also, gently pull the ankle to your butt, as you see me doing here. That's going to ensure proper stretch throughout our workout. Okay, so moving on to our prone press-up stretch. This is another. It can be dynamic, but we're going to do the static stretch using it. It's going to target the lower back, abdominal muscles, and hip flexors. It's going to be used to relieve tension in the lower back and improve spinal mobility. It's commonly included a warm-up and a cool-down. We're doing a cool-down. It's going to promote better posture and prevent lower back discomfort. Since we did throw a lot of balls today against the wall, rotational twist, this is really good for our lower back. I love incorporating this in my cool-downs because it really loosens up my lower back. Going on to our 8th and final cool-down stretch, we're going into the step stretch. It's a static flexibility exercise, typically performed using a stair step. Here we're using a weight plate. It targets the calves, Achilles tendon, and plantar fascia. So we did some depth jumps, different lower body exercises, really going to help us stretch the calf and Achilles tendon. I love this. Again, I'm using a weight plate, but you can use stairs, ledges, a wall. Not really a wall because it's a step stretch, but anything that's going to elevate the front of your foot and stretch the calf. But after this is going to wrap up our plyometric workout, the warm-up and cool-down. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something. Please let me know in the comments if y'all learned anything, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you.